Hello everyone and welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to continue with edit mode. We're gonna see how we can separate and join different objects together. With a cube selected, let's press tab to go into edit mode. So let's go into face select mode by pressing 3 on the keyboard. Select this one face. Now let's insert this one. So press I to insert, and maybe let's just do something like this. And then let's extrude this face. So with this face selected, press E to extrude and create something like that. So now what I want to do, obviously if we now press tab again, you can see this whole thing is our object, and in outline you can see the object's name is called cube. You can obviously double click on this and rename it to maybe my object. So that's our object right here. So let's go back into edit mode by pressing tab, and now I want to separate this extrusion as its own object. So to do that, let's go into face select mode. So I'm going to click on this face, hold shift, and I'm going to select all of these faces. And now simply to separate this into its own object, I can right click, go down to separate and choose selection. So it's basically going to take everything that's selected and it's going to create its own object. So now you can see in the outline that we got two objects, my object and my object 0.001. And now if I press tab to go into object mode, you can see we've got this cube object. Obviously it's got a hole there because we separated them, and then we also have this one as its own object. So now I can select this object, I can maybe move it away, I can press tab, and I can start editing. I can create a loop cut, I can create an insert, I can do an extrude, whatever I want. Now obviously remember there will be a hole on the side because we just took those certain faces and we separated them from this model. You can go to edge select mode, select this edge and this edge, and then press F to fill that with a face. And if we want to do the same on the other object, we first need to go out of edit mode, pressing tab, and then select this object, press tab to go into edit mode. And now we can select this edge and then press F to fill that with the face. So that's how you can separate two objects from each other to create multiple objects. So now let's see how you can join them back into one object. So to join two objects into one object, they don't really even have to be connected. So I can take both these objects, I can click on this object which is the cube, and I can shift and click another object. After both of them selected, now simply right click and select join from the menu. So now keep an eye on the outliner. If I click join, we only have one object again, and if I select this one, you will see that it's selecting both of them because it's basically this is now one object. So I can click on either this or this and it will select this object as one. So now I can select this object, press tab to go into edit mode, and I can edit them both at the same time. So I can now do something like extrude this one, maybe let's extrude this over to this side. Let's add a loop cut right here, and then let's extrude this face like so. And now I can do something like I can select this edge, shift, click on this edge, press F, and it's going to fill with the face. Maybe the same with these two, press F, and this one, press F, and this one, press F. So now you can see if I go out of edit mode that we have created this interesting looking thing by joining two objects together, going into edit mode, and then connecting them with the tools that we have available. Another thing that you can do is let's go back into edit mode. You can duplicate these edges, vertices, and faces as well. So I'm going to go to face select mode, and by pressing 3 on the keyboard, and I'm going to select this face. Now let's say if I wanted to duplicate. So I can press Shift D to duplicate, and then I want to move in the X-axis. So then press X and it can move that face out along X-axis. So now this is a duplicate of this face. You can see they are exactly the same size and shape because it's a duplicate. So now what I can do is with this new face selected, I can right click separate selection, and now this will be its own objects, and I can go back to object mode by pressing tab, and I can see one face as its own object and this bigger object on its own. So now I can go into this object, press tab to enter edit mode, and then I can select this face, and I can start extruding and creating my second model, which will be separated from this model. This is handy if you want to maybe have a model that will fit exactly inside or with another object. Let me show you one more example. So I'm going to select this object, go into edit mode, and I'm going to insert this face. So let's say we want to create something like that, and I want to extrude this inwards. So I'm just going to press E and just extrude that inwards like that. And maybe I want to scale that face slightly down. So pressing S, and then maybe let's create another insert, and then maybe let's create another extrude. So let's say you have something like that and you want to create something that will be a separated object, but it needs to fit exactly into this area. So what I can do is I can select this interface and I'm going to duplicate it, Shift D. So now I've duplicated that face and I want to move it on the Y axis on this green line. So press Y and I'm going to move it out like that. So this is a duplicate of that face, and now we can separate this out. So right click, separate selection. So now I can press tab to go into object mode, and now we've got this object that will fit exactly into this hole. So I can go to edit mode now. I can extrude this face by pressing E, and now if we go back into object mode, I can now move this whole object. So I'm pressing GY, and as you can see, that will now fit exactly into that area because we duplicated that face. So it's going to be exactly the same size. So play around with these tools, separate, join different objects together, and see what you can create by just using these different tools like extrude, loop cut, insert, bevel, separate, and join. So just keep practice and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.